Well, the sheep, the ships, the ocean and the cruise are momentous events. Arguably the most significant event that Wellard has done in Australia has been to hire Steve Meerwald. Since 1984, Steve's helped chart Wellard's course and even helped source sheep for the first El Podrero shipment when he worked at Metro Meats. Steve, maybe give us a bit of a snapshot of some of those earlier days.
My first job with Seba or Wellard at that point in time was running at Valdivas.
Oh.
But it included picking up dead sheep and a few other things.
Had you on the end of a shovel for a while.
First time I met Steve, he was at the field at Valdivas, and he was riding a Suzuki 250. When I saw with the bike, I said, "I must be a good man."
But also, I believe that you have received. I believe you've received some extraordinary requests in your time for game and.
It's interesting. This time of year, we get requests for sheep to go tomorrow to Saudi and everywhere else for Ramadan and Hajj. But we've had kangaroos, rabbits. We had some Libyans out here who went to the zoo wanting to import kangaroos for the supposedly the Tripoli zoological gardens, but I think that they were going to end up jumping over the sand plains and potentially being shot.
Well, like Steve, another big contributor to the company has been a long-standing board member and chairman at times, Ennio Tavani.
First off, my apologies to Mauro and the team at Wellard, as I'm not going to be here for your great 30th year celebration. Unfortunately, I've gone to other parts of the world. But all the boys there, congratulations, great job. It's been a lot of fun the last 30 years, and I'm sure you're going to make it the same for the next 30 years. My first impression of Emilio was a very good Italian businessman. He was a large man, dominated the space, and you could see that he was a person who got what he wanted. Many years ago when Emilio was in town, we went and had a meeting in the boardroom of Western Feeds, and I noticed that they had the horse photographs of all these winners. I think one of them actually won an English derby, and they had the photographs in the boardroom. And after Emilio and I had gone, I happened to catch up with the secretary of the company, and I said, "Do you always have those photographs on the wall?" He said, "No, we only put them up when Emilio's in town." My first meeting with Mauro was in Italy, and this little young kid was flitting around with his little shorts and long socks. He would have been about 14 or 15 then. And I thought, well, here's the future of the Seba Empire. And then the next phase was when young Mauro turned up as a young businessman about 5 years ago and took control of the Australian business. That has been a real turning point. There's been a lot of energy, a lot of intellect, and a lot of good business being done in those 5 years. Steve Meerwald has had a huge influence on the business. Steve has got a very high level of integrity, and he decides what is the right thing to do and invariably carries it through. Relationships are probably the most important aspect of Wellard's growth. Emilio had a great relationship with the market in the Middle East, and he's passed the baton on to Mauro. Mauro has understood the importance of relationships, and the same as here in Australia, where we have a great relationships with the suppliers. Mauro and Emilio always had a great relationship with the buyers, and that's continuing as part of the corporate ethos. And the results are nothing short of fantastic. I think that it's positioned itself as a great Australian company that will play a leading role in the food supply market in the Middle East and definitely in other places in the world.
Thanks, Ennio. One of the major investments by the company in the formative years was the acquisition of the Valdivas property, where Wellard produces and aggregates up to about 70,000 sheep at a time. Wellard's shearing contractor for more than 20 years is Bruce Oldfield, and he's been a constant at the Valdivas feedlot. And Bruce is going to tell us a bit about some of his experiences.
You know, in this shed you work 7 days a week, holidays, basically throughout the year. The only day you're guaranteed off would be Christmas Day. Any other time when the sheep here, you just have to hop in and shear them. Since starting with Wellard's, a lot of sheep, you know. Started off small, but then they just got gradually bigger and bigger, and at times it was, you know, pretty hard to control, but, you know, we always managed. Yeah, and, you know, times we had to put in a night shift to catch up with, you know, the amount of sheep that were shorn. One year I had 20 shearers going during the day, 19 shearers at night time, and we're shearing around 7,000 sheep a day. So it's been an amazing journey from starting at Metro Meats, 6-stand in Midland, to what we do down here now. 20 shearers going, and shed hands and presses, penner uppers. It's really something to see when they're all going flat out. I have seen some good and rough shearers. Yes, there's been some shockers, and by gee, there's been some good ones to go through too.